checking in, what I'd like for you to do is just take a moment and see if you feel the same pressure on both butt cheeks. And then do a little shifting to make sure that you have some kind of alignment of the hips. Next, think to yourself, I'm going to take a moment and feel what's happening from my ear, the back of my ear, down to my shoulder. And I sense that when I exhale and relax my shoulders, that the right side of my neck is more tense than the left side of my neck. And then just a little check to see if there's any place in the body that you think needs a little extra attention. Okay, what parts of your bodies might need a little attention? Anybody?
My neck.
Neck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, just my low back and my big job today.
Okay. Miss Susan, you good?
Yeah, I'm good today.
Okay. Let's just start then by having the hands out like this, elbows straight, and then pull back and have the chin go up. Exhale, push forward, tuck the chin, pull the belly button back to the spine. Inhale, pull back with the elbows, chin up to the ceiling. Feel the movement of those shoulder blades. When the elbows are back, the shoulder blades they feel like they're almost touching each other. And when the hands are forward, it feels like the shoulder blades are really pulling away from one another. It's also a really subtle way to get to the tops of the shoulders and the neck. If you don't have your back plastered to the back of the chair and you have some room there, you can feel the spine move and you can feel it in the lower back. You can feel that S curve and it gets to that lower back. Then relax with that. I got a little bit of temperature going on there from the repetition of what's happening in my neck. Next, what I'd like for you to do is just lean your head over to one side. Kind of stay there and just look up to the ceiling and look down to the floor. Don't move anything except your eyes. Look up to the ceiling and look down to the floor. Notice how the movement of the eyes changes what you're doing with your neck. Then back to center. Go to the other side. Look up to the ceiling and down to the floor. I really feel that along the side and the back of the neck. And come to center. Now what I want you to do is don't press on the head, but hands up like this, elbows back and chin tucked. Then look up. Tuck your chin, press your elbows back. Because this changes what the shoulders do, it also changes what the neck does, and it changes the position of the spine. If I press my elbows back, it's a huge movement also of the shoulder blades. Final one. Feel up the back of the neck. Let the hands dangle down by the sides. Exhale and pull the bottom of the rib cage down. Pull the bottom of the rib cage in and down. I want the body to deal with the weight of the arms dangling by the side. It's like knitting the bottom of the rib cage to the top of the hip bones. And I don't know about you, Joan, but I feel that on the top of my hip bones. Do you feel it there?
yeah.
And so it's a gentle way to kind of release all the straining that happens there. And this is the last one. Come forward on your chair. And I like to have my hands on my knees. And I'm going to have right foot go out to the side, right knee and come in. Left foot go out to the side and come in. I want the hand to stay on the knee. And last one. I feel that up in the groin itself, where both legs up and join the torso. Here I'd like for us to do a few neck rolls. Nice and slow and easy. Remember, you cannot force a muscle to relax. Change directions. Final one. Open the knees wide, external rotation of the feet, and think, I'm going to press my chin towards the wall in front of me. And up. I'm going to exhale and press my chin towards the wall in front of me. Inhale as you come up. It's a hinging from the hips. I like this for my lower back, Joan.
Yeah.
Especially if I keep my hands on my knees. And now what I want is just, I want you to do that same kind of hinging from your hip. I think I'm going to look over one shoulder and up. I'm going to turn my head and look over the other shoulder and up. Keep both hands on your knees. This is not a big movement. Exhale when you go down. Inhale as you come up. Yeah. Last one. Hands up like this. Unfold the arms and fold them back in. Unfold them, press out towards the side with your fingertips and fold them back in. Now when you unfold the arms, pull the bottom of the rib cage down and in. So rib cage down and in, unfold the arms, fold them back in. Tuck the ribs. Couple more. Keep those ribs nice and tight. Last one. That placed a little bit of stress on the upper shoulders, but I'm hoping not too much, Barbara.
No, feels good.
Okay. Hands up like this. Hands down like this. Up and down. Feel how you're really working that shoulder joint. And you're also working the pecs here. Up and down, a couple more. Up, down, last one. Just take a moment and feel what happened in the shoulder joint. Deep in the shoulder joint. Place a hand on an elbow and pull. Pull that elbow towards the other shoulder, gently. And so you're pulling and you're still looking forward. Pull that up. Feel that across the upper back and the top part of the arm. In addition to feeling that in the back of my shoulder, I also felt it right here in the front. Other elbow in the hand and pull. Exhale when you pull that elbow. You're straightening the elbow, really. That also goes to the top of my waist. The arms are really different with this. Final one. While we're here, let me move the chair back so maybe you can see my feet. Can you see, Susan, can you see my feet if I'm all the way back here?
Nope, I can see your calves.
Calves. I can move this back a little bit.
You got to go back further. Tell you before you even sit.
Okay, that's as far back as I can take the computer. Let me see if you can.
You know what though? You can move your chair back like closer to where you normally sit in the living room.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now I can see your feet.
Okay.
Not your whole feet though. Back up like another like 3 inches. You know, be good.
Okay.
There you go.
Feet slightly in back of my knees. And I want my feet open a little bit wider than my hips. And as I press my feet down into the floor, I want to rest my fingers on my knees. I'd like to feel what my knees are doing. Exhale and press the feet down. And you feel the tendons and ligaments at the knee work. You feel the big muscles in the thighs work. And lastly, the big butt. You feel that big butt working too. Press the feet down and then relax. One foot out, one leg out, one knee straight. Rest the heel on the floor. Point the toe, lift the toe. Try to do it so you feel the kneecap very much involved with what you're doing here. You don't want to strain, but you do want to get some movement in the top of the foot. And the calf is working, and the thigh gets really tight. Switch legs when you're ready, okay? Remember, you're pivoting on that heel. You're pointing and flexing that foot. Now, still the feet back in line with the knees, and let's just go up on tiptoes and spread those toes. Then lower the heels. Up on tiptoes, see if you can spread the toes. Slowly lower the heels. When I slowly lower my heels, I get an awful lot of work going on across the back hip bones. Spread those toes. This is the final one. We're going to do right leg. Make sure that right leg is in line with the hip. And I'm going to look at that foot. I don't want the foot externally or internally rotating. I want that foot in line with my knee and my hip. And I'm resting my hand on my knee so that I can keep that knee from moving. This is about work right back here in the hip. Well, all the way up that whole chain of things. Press the ball under the big toe down, keep the toes down, and relax. Ball under the big toe. As you press the ball under the big toe down into the ground, you can feel things happening around the kneecap. And you also can feel that butt cheek tightening. Keep your toes down and press the ball under the big toe. Now, keep the toes down and press the outside of the heel. Don't let the leg move. This also works the knee. The knee is the negotiator. Use your hand to keep it still. Keep all the toes on the floor. And press the outside of the heel. Now, press them both. Ball under big toe, outside of the heel. Ball under big toe, outside of the heel. So what you're really doing is you're lifting your arch here. And it goes all the way back here into how that ball sits in the socket. Ball under the big toe, outside of the heel. It's hard. The toes want to come up and the leg wants to move. It's really a valuable movement if you can figure out how to do it. Okay, rest for a minute. I want you to feel the difference in the legs all the way up the thigh into the hips. All right, now let's look at the other leg. Line the foot up with the knee and the hip. Ball under the big toe. rest your hand on the knee so it doesn't move. Because I did rehab on this foot, it's much stronger than the other foot with doing this. I feel some of this in the back of the thighs too. The hamstrings are reacting to this. Now the outside, keeping all your toes down, the outside of the heel. That goes right where the ball fits into the socket for me. Now both, ball under big toe, outside of the heel. It takes a while for the body to figure out what you want it to do. This is not an everyday movement. As a matter of fact, I can feel that a little bit up under my shoulder blades. That's very weird. Finish up. As you're standing up, practice this. Put your feet slightly in back of your knees. Shift your weight and stand up. Okay. Stand with your feet hip width apart, maybe a little bit more, and have your knuckles face me. Then turn your knuckles to the side. Have your knuckles face me. When you turn your knuckles to the side, notice how the knees want to straighten. Knuckles to the side. I'm going to do this from the side so you can see my shoulders. Here's the knuckles front. See how my shoulders are slightly tipping forward? Knuckles to the side, my shoulders really lift up and my chest really opens. Now, try to keep your knees soft when you turn your knuckles to the side. The belly gets involved. The lower back gets involved, and all I'm doing is shifting where I'm holding my hands. It makes my head different on my neck. However, when you turn your knuckles to the side, it should shift what's happening in your neck.
It
Does
does.
it?
Yes.
Good. Then just stand here, and I know this seems really silly, but in order to get this, I want you to take your shoulders and do this with your shoulders. Up and down, up and down. Make it effortless. No big mystery to it. I want some freedom. I want a range of motion in your shoulders, and then it'll go into your hips. And then just swing your arms a little bit back and forth. Once again, make your hands the heavier part of the arms. And lastly, pretend you're shaking water off your fingertips. Do it with your hands down. Do it with your hands up. The whole arm is moving, and it's really traveling up into the neck. And now rest your hands and see how you can feel it up your arm. I mean, it really helps shake things out. The last thing I want you to do now is feet open, wider than your hips. I want you to, first of all, I want the hips to go along and the knees to be soft. So I'm going to take an elbow and I'm going to do a little look over the shoulder. I'm going to take the other elbow and look over the shoulder. Make it real easy. The hips are going to move a little bit. Now, what I want you to do is see when I turn, my hips This hip bone goes this way a little bit, and this hip bone goes this way. Now I want you to keep both hip bones facing forward. Don't let the hips move. So it's this. Don't let the hips move. And this, press your hip bones forward as you do this. I lied about it being the last one. What's that lie? Let's put your hands on your chair. Okay. So the feet are open a little bit wider than the hips. And all I want you to do here is shift your elbows are straight. Shift your weight from your heels and lift your toes up. And then the weight is going to be on the front of the foot and lift your heels up. Lift the toes up and push the butt back. Lift the heels up and push the butt forward. Feel that big movement across the lower back. Going up and down on the foot, pushing the butt back and forth. While you're here, can you kick straight out with one foot? Toe down to the floor and back. Kick straight up and out with the other foot. And back. You should be secure on your chair. Only lift the leg up as high as you're confident. And then come on up. Let's just sit for a moment and breathe. With each exhale, relax your jaw muscles. Take the tongue that is probably up on the roof of the mouth and put it down on the floor of the mouth. Keep the tongue there as you breathe. After you've convinced the tongue you'd like for it to stay there for a little bit, let the inhale and exhale raise and lower your shoulders. Nothing dramatic. I want the shoulders to follow the natural breath. Go to the places that were bothering you and ask all the muscles around that place, not the place itself, but the muscles around that place to please soften. Make sure your tongue is on the floor. Ask the muscles to soften and lengthen. Sometimes the place that bothers you is just too much and you can't give it attention, but you can give attention to everything around the place that's bothering you. And don't forget to enjoy the rest of the body, which has been so good to us. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The neck better, a little bit better, Miss Barbara?